What's going on, guys, and welcome back to the channel. I'm Chris. This is 4K Motoring, or if you're watching on our sister channel, this is 4K Aerial Videos. What I'm going to do today is a little comparison. I've had the DJI Mini 3 Pro for a little over a year since it was introduced, and that was my first drone I've ever owned. Since then, I've gotten my FAA Part 107 certificate. I've become a pilot for my employer. I fly regularly M30s and M300s, some of the bigger drones. And just about a month ago, a little over a month ago, I got the DJI Air 3 when that came out. What I want to do today is a little comparison between these two. I'll talk about the new Air 4 and let you know if you have one of these drones, is it worth upgrading to the Air 3 or the Mini 4 Pro? First, I do want to point out that the cases that come with these, I don't really find adequate for all the things you're going to need to carry when you have one of these drones. So both of these cases are from a company called Start NC, along with a lot of their accessories. I found they fit these drones really well and work really well with these drones for not a bad price. I'll leave links to both of those in the description below. Okay, right off the bat, we can see the size difference between the Air 3 and the Mini 3 Pro, and that's obviously where the Mini 3 gets its name, is that it's a mini drone, one of these smaller class drones. This thing weighs considerably less than that Air 3 does. It lacks a couple features, but what it makes up for is some legal benefits in most countries and has the upside of being a little bit quieter, a little bit more convenient, and a little bit cheaper overall. So this is the Mini 3 Pro. As you can see, size-wise, it is actually pretty compact. Obviously, it folds up, and this thing offers a pretty phenomenal 1/1.3 sensor that shoots actually pretty decent quality 4K video and will do the vertical rotation of the actual camera sensor itself, that way you can get true 4K vertical video, making this a very compelling option for those that do social media posting. Now, it lacks a couple features which I think kind of make it not as good as something like the Air 3 or even the Mini 4. This has obstacle avoidance front and rear and bottom, but nothing from the sides. And I have crashed this a couple times, luckily not badly, but I've crashed it a couple times while flying sideways as I'm panning across into something. So side sensors like the Mini 4 or the Air 3 definitely would be some peace of mind I would highly recommend. The other thing this lacks is a fan. This thing will heat up quite a bit when it's just sitting hovering. It only gets airflow through the front when it's flying forward, through forward flight, and sometimes this thing will have overheating issues. The heavier drones, the bigger drones, the Air 3 has an internal fan, so it doesn't have that issue. These Minis do not. Other than that, the batteries are very swappable. It has a high capacity and a regular battery, but again, one of the main draws of this size drone is that it is sub 249 grams. It's exempt from a lot of legislation and a lot of registration in a lot of countries, and that's really where it shines. So although it does have the bigger batteries, I really think getting the smaller batteries are where this thing shines. If you want bigger batteries, get a bigger drone. That's my 2 cents. Now I'll put it up in the air, I'll let you hear it a little bit. This thing is pretty darn quiet by comparison to the Air 3. The Air 3 is a lot louder. Still not terrible. Both of them, when they're 100 feet up and not directly above you, they're gonna be pretty quiet, you're not gonna notice them. But this thing can really sneak up on people. You also have the ability, because of its weight, especially if you have some prop guards on here that kind of maintain that weight, you can fly over people in certain circumstances where the Air 3 is gonna have a much harder time doing that. Worth noting is that I do have the original DJI RC controller that came with the Mini 3 here. This thing is phenomenal, it's a game changer, but as you can see in the sun, it's a little hard to see right now. The 03 transmission is pretty good. You're supposed to fly within line of sight with these, and I find as long as you're doing that, you really have no issues, but flying around a building or having any interference, this thing drops out pretty quickly, especially compared to the new 04 and the new RC2 controller. So let's go ahead and get this up. Like I said, I'll show you the video from it. You can decide if it's any different than the Air 3 for you. Okay, can't really see my viewfinder right now, but I hope I'm showing you the Mini 3 Pro right behind me. I have my mic turned towards it so you can hear the audio. What do you guys think? How loud is that? I'm really not having a problem talking to you guys over the sound of it. It is actually pretty easy. It is a very low pitched kind of hum, which I really like. If we kind of come in closer, you can see how it's bouncing around a little bit in the wind. And that is one of the other drawbacks of this Mini series drone, is that they don't weigh a lot and the motors don't have a lot of power. They do bounce around in the wind a lot. The actual footage phone is pretty stable with that gimbal on there, but if you're doing a time lapse or speeding things up, you do know these things shake around a lot in the wind. So what we have here is just our Mini 3 Pro, just normal 4K 30 FPS, just to show you in decent lighting, kind of harsh lighting, with a little ND filter, what the video looks like. Overall, pretty detailed, pretty smooth, and no real complaints from this drone. Here is the vertical video from the Mini 3 Pro. It is, again, 4K, full 4K, because that whole head rotates sideways. So you can see the detail in this shot, and this is a full 4K video turned sideways. We'll compare that later to the Air 3 and its 2.7K to see if you can really tell a difference. And this is just showing full stick in sport mode, how quickly you can cover a little bit of ground with the Mini 3 Pro for speed, 30 miles an hour. So guys, for those of you that have had this or had experience with the Mini 3 Pro, it is an awesome drone for everyday use. It is great for social media stuff. It is just super convenient to have with you. It will do some of the active tracking features, which are super cool, and one of the big reasons I got this thing. It has a lot of accessories available for it, and the flight time really isn't bad at all. To have one drone, this Mini series is very hard to beat, and the Mini 3 Pro is definitely, even in 2023, the end of 2023, still a good option. Let's talk about the Air 3, what the Air 3 brings, what at least noticeably the Air 3 brings to you, and then we'll talk about the Mini 4 and see how that really compares. So right away, I think we can pretty well see the difference between the sizes of these drones. Again, the Air 3 is not something I would consider too big to carry with you. Really, the size is bigger than the Mini 3, but not prohibitively bigger. It is a little heavier, but again, not super heavy. And the controller even have a slightly larger footprint with the antennas and the fan on the back, but still not too big. We're gonna go ahead and put this up. I'll show you the sound out of it and some of the main features this has. Noting this has the full 360-degree obstacle avoidance out of the most modern crash sensors that DJI offers. The batteries fit right in the back, just like the Mini. That's a pretty easy thing to do. It does have the cool smart charging pack that's available with it. On the bottom, it does have a spotlight that is available on the Mini 4 as well, but not on the 3. And it does, like I said, have an inbuilt fan. The camera is going to be the same 1/1.3-inch sensor, but it is an upgraded type of sensor, stack sensor, that supposedly produces a little bit faster images, meaning it can take in a little bit more light for the same sensor size. And you can be the judge of the images, at least in broad daylight, and tell me how different they look. Most notably, it has this 3x optical zoom, which is very, very useful. This does not do the full rotation of the head for 4K video, vertical 4K video, but it does have a vertical video mode. So let's go ahead and put it up and I'll let you compare the footage. Importantly, as I said, this has a new controller as well, the RC2. As you can tell, this does have the antennas on top, which do help, along with the new O4 transmission system that has a different frequency that it adds to it. What I've noticed is there is a lot stronger signal with this new O4 transmission and the new RC2 controller compared to the old DJI RC with the Mini 3. There are more antennas in the drone itself. There are antennas on the controller and new frequency. This thing does a really good job of staying connected if you're having issues with that with your Mini 3 Pro. We're gonna go ahead and put it up. I'll let you listen to the sound. Let's compare video. Well, here we have the Air 3 behind us. As you can tell, I'm having to talk maybe a little bit louder. You can probably hear this hum a little bit more than you could with the Mini, and that is definitely the case. It is a deeper noise for sure. It doesn't sound quite as much like a bunch of bees buzzing around you, but the overall volume is definitely more with this. Again, I can still talk to you guys here. It's not overwhelming that, so it's not too loud, but it's definitely not gonna be the same as the Mini 3 Pro. As you can see, look at it in the air. Additional stabilizers in the gimbal itself to make this film a... We do have lights all the way around, which we do with the Mini 3 Pro series, as well as that light on the bottom, making nighttime flight a little bit easier. I wish DJI would put anti-collision lights on these drones from factory instead of having to add your own later on. But you guys let me know what you think of this video. Okay, and now we're with the Air 3, again shooting 4K 30 FPS with just the main camera, a little ND filter on it, just to show you the detail on it. Again, the sensor is the same size as the Mini 3 Pro, but of course it is that new stack sensor that's supposed to be a little bit better at signal speed and recording light. So see if you can tell a difference here. This is shooting a full log profile on the Air 3 as opposed to the D-Cine-like on the Mini 3 Pro, both 10-bit color profiles, and both have just the easy grade option on DaVinci Resolve coloring them. And here we have the 3x zoom camera on the Air 3, and this is where it really shines opposed to the Mini 3 Pro, because we're not getting a digital zoom, we're getting a full 3x optical zoom, which can go up to 9x digital zoom. And just looking at the detail that you're getting from the zoom level and the framing you are, that's what really gives this drone something special, the ability to switch between those focal lengths and really make your shot exactly what you want it to be. And finally, we're going to go ahead and put it into our vertical mode. This is a 2.7K crop. You're getting a little bit greater top and bottom visibility than you did with the normal 4K video, but it's cutting out the side. On the viewfinder, it's kind of nice because it still shows you what's going on the side, so you can frame your shot and have a little better awareness of what's around you. But can you tell a difference between the 4K in the Mini 3 Pro? Because I can't on social media. And then here is our top speed run with the Air 3. This thing definitely flies faster. This thing approaches about 50 miles an hour, just shy, as opposed to the kind of mid-30s with the Mini 3 Pro, able to cut a lot more ground more quickly. So there you guys have seen the video back-to-back with the Air 3 and the Mini 3 Pro. Let me know what you think. Can you really tell a difference? A lot of this can be made up in post. Again, the Air 3 will offer a couple more shooting styles as far as log footage, but if you're not doing color grading, for the majority of people out there, the normal color profile actually works really, really well in these. I'm pretty impressed by it. So that said, you don't really need to do a whole lot with these. You can leave them in normal mode and probably have a really good experience with these two drones. Now, as I mentioned, the 04 transmission in the new RC2 controller is a big boost, but so is the fan on the back that lets it stay cool and it doesn't lag. Every now and then, especially in the hot heat of the screen in the sun in the middle of summer in North Carolina, the controller would lag and be a little bit slow to do things. Not had that experience with the RC2. That fan seems to keep it pretty cool. Same with the drone. The Air 3 just handles so well. It is so fast climbing, turning, moving. It definitely has much more powerful motors for a drone that's only a little bit heavier. And really the flight experience of all the drones I've flown, of the Mini series, the Airs, and the bigger Enterprise series drones, the Air 3 is my favorite to fly. It just flies so well. Little features like cruise control, waypoints, stuff like that that's available to the Air 3 with those full 360 collision sensors really make a big difference in confidence when flying one of these. And overall, if you're not bound by your local regulations or where you can fly, or if you're going to register, the Air 3 is a much superior drone in my mind to the Mini 3 Pro with very few notable drawbacks. Let's talk Mini 4. Basically a combination of these two drones, right? You're still getting the lightweight sub 249 gram drone. You're getting the full obstacle avoidance of the Air 3. You're getting the 04 transmission with the new RC2 controller, with the fans and all the benefits it has. You're getting a lot of the same features. You're getting the full active track because it can fly sideways and do all those things. You're getting the full waypoints, and pretty much everything the Air 3 can do, just about the new Mini 4 can do, minus the zoom on the camera. That said, you're still limited on some of those features that just you can't make up for with technology. The actual size and weight is less, so you're going to have a little bit more bouncing around, a little bit less stability in high winds. Your overall speed is still slower with those smaller motors, smaller propellers compared to the Air series. You don't have an inbuilt fan and some of the other robust structure features that you do with the Air series on the Mini, even the new Mini 4. So the Mini 4 is not going to be a direct replacement for all of this that you see here. So without simplifying too much, what do I think? Is it worth upgrading from the Mini 3 Pro to the Air 3? 100% yes. I am so glad I bought this. For the price point, not a whole lot more than what the Mini 3 Pro was. You're getting a lot more drone, especially with the Fly More kit and the extra batteries it has with the battery share mode that allow you to take whatever's remaining charges in all your batteries, find the one with the most charge, and dump all the charge into that. I find I usually fly these things till about 20 to 30%, then I bring it down. So each battery has 20 to 30% left in it. When I put them all in that battery bank together, I hit the button and it sucks it all over into one, and I have an almost full battery again. Effectively almost having 4 batteries to fly when I only actually have 3 batteries. The flight time on this Air 3 is ridiculous. You can keep this thing in the air a long time, way longer than you're ever going to want to with just the Fly More kit. And at the price point it is, that's a great deal. The Mini series, like I said, they do have the extended batteries, but again, you're creeping up over that 249 gram weight limit where it has to be registered now, and you're going to be subject to a couple other restrictions. So really, I wouldn't recommend getting the bigger batteries for the Mini 3. I would just go ahead and get a larger drone for those usage. If you're going to have one drone and you've not bought one yet, the new Mini 4 does combine almost the best of both of these to give you just an all-around fantastic package that you don't have to necessarily register, that is incredibly small, it is very quiet, it is easy to carry with you, and a little bit cheaper. If you just want to use them occasionally and you don't have one yet, really hard to advise against the new Mini 4 Pro. If you haven't already, please hit that like button and subscribe. If there's any other questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below. If you have a different drone that you really like and think is a superior option to these two, or have the Mini 4 and have thoughts about it, let me know that down below too. I'd love to hear about it. As always, thanks for watching 4K motoring or 4K aerial videos. We'll see you next time.